There are moments when the body is still, and the world calls it laziness, but inside something quieter is happening. It feels like a weight not on the arms or legs, but somewhere deeper, a heaviness that does not ask for sleep, yet does not ask for movement either. You sit with it, breathing slowly, unsure why the will to move has softened, and in that stillness, thoughts come and go like shadows at dusk. You may wonder why the fire feels low, why the urge to act, to chase, to prove something has grown quiet. Is something wrong, you ask gently? Or is something finally resting? Silence has a way of making people uneasy. Even our own silence can feel uncomfortable. When nothing pushes us forward, when nothing pulls us back, we are left with ourselves. And that can feel unfamiliar. In the quiet, emotions rise without noise, small doubts, old memories, questions without clear answers. They do not shout. They wait. They sit beside you, patient, asking only to be noticed. It is easy to believe that not moving means failing, that if the hands are empty, the heart must be empty too. But the heart knows better, even if it does not speak. Sometimes the soul slows down, not because it is weak, but because it is listening. Listening to something it ignored for too long. Listening to the cost of always reacting, always rushing, always explaining. Listening to the tired places inside that never learned how to rest without guilt. In these moments, the world feels distant. Sounds are softer. Time stretches gently. You notice small things, the rhythm of breath, the calm between thoughts, and you begin to see that stillness has its own movement. There is a quiet tension here, not the kind that hurts, but the kind that holds, like a bow not yet released, strength gathered but not displayed. And yet a question lingers. If I do nothing, will I be forgotten? If I remain silent, will they decide who I am for me? These questions do not demand answers right away. They sit patiently in the dark, waiting for honesty, not speed. Waiting for you to feel them fully, without pushing them away. You may notice how the mind tries to escape this quiet. It looks for noise, for reasons, for something to react to, but the quiet remains, steady and unmoved. And slowly, almost without realizing it, you begin to sense that this stillness is not empty at all. It is full of awareness, full of observation, full of a strength that does not need to announce itself. Like a creature resting before the long path ahead, not from fear, but from knowing when to conserve energy. Not everything that is powerful needs to move right now. The quiet weight you feel is not a burden meant to crush you. It is a pause meant to prepare you, a space where the noise of the outside fades and the truth of the inside becomes clearer. Nothing is being asked of you in this moment. No performance, no proof, no reaction, only presence. And as you sit there listening carefully, you may begin to understand something simple and old, that not every silence is weakness. Not every pause is failure, and not every still moment is meant to be filled. Some are meant to be felt. Sometimes, even in quiet, there are eyes upon us that do not understand. They notice the stillness and see only what they wish to see. They measure the calm as weakness, the pause as delay, the silence as absence. And in their eyes you begin to feel small, though the heart knows it is not. Have you ever felt that weight? That quiet pressure of being watched yet never seen? They do not ask. They only notice the parts that move, the noise that rises, the actions that shine. And when you do not move, when you do not speak, when you do not react, they whisper stories about you, stories you did not tell, stories you cannot correct, because they listen only to what they want to hear. It is an odd discomfort. The body is still, the mind is gentle, the soul is quiet, and yet, somehow, the world seems louder. Even within your own home, within your own thoughts, you feel the shift. They watch, they judge, they misunderstand, and slowly, without warning, you feel a tension that was never there before, not inside you, but pressing upon you from outside. You may feel a flicker of anger or a tightening of the chest. You may wonder, should I speak? Should I explain? Should I rush to show them the truth? But even in the discomfort, the quiet inside is teaching you something subtle. It is teaching you that not every misunderstanding needs correction. Not every gaze needs your answer. Not every story they tell about you is yours to refute. The mind may ache for defense. It may whisper, "They do not see you. They do not understand. You must act." But the heart knows differently. Sometimes the most powerful thing is to remain unmoved, to sit with the misunderstanding as a guest without chasing it away, to breathe and notice it, but not allow it to stir the inner tide. It is not easy. The quiet may now feel heavier than before. The weight of being watched and judged presses upon the shoulders. Yet, in that pressure, there is a strange clarity. You begin to see that they will always notice only the surface. They will always try to define you by what they can grasp. And the surface is only a reflection, not the whole. You begin to understand that their misunderstanding says more about them than it does about you. It is not a mirror of your worth. It is only a shadow of their own fear, their own need to label, their own impatience with silence. And slowly, as you sit and breathe, you start to feel a quiet power rising. Not loud, not demanding, not needing applause. A power that comes from seeing without being seen. A strength that grows when you choose observation over reaction, patience over argument, stillness over explanation. You notice how the quiet allows you to understand yourself more clearly. You see the truth of your intentions, the rhythm of your heart, the pulse of your own presence, and while they watch, you learn not to be pulled into their stories. You learn that being misunderstood does not diminish you. You learn that silence can carry meaning that words cannot, and presence can hold more weight than 1,000 explanations. The discomfort becomes a teacher. Each gaze that judges, each whisper that assumes, each glance that misunderstands becomes a lesson in restraint. You learn that not every feeling needs expression. Not every slight deserves a reply. Not every moment of observation requires interference. And slowly, quietly, you feel a space opening inside where calm grows, a space untouched by judgment, a space where they may never truly see, yet it no longer matters. Because in that space, you see yourself. You see the heart that remains steady, the mind that observes without needing to react, the soul that honors its own rhythm, even when misunderstood. And in that quiet, a soft truth settles gently, that the world may watch, they may whisper, they may assume, but your stillness is your own, and your calm is not theirs to disturb, it is yours to hold. And in holding it, you begin to feel the first quiet seeds of inner freedom. There comes a moment, often quiet, when something inside begins to shift. It is not sudden. It does not announce itself with a flash or a shout. It is gentle, almost imperceptible, like a river changing its course beneath a thin layer of ice. You begin to notice it first as a stillness, deeper than before. The quiet that once felt heavy now carries a subtle clarity. You realize that power does not always make a sound. It does not demand attention. It does not push. It does not need to prove itself. It simply exists, steady and patient, like the roots of a tree holding firm beneath the soil. Have you felt that before? The feeling of strength that comes not from action but from presence? It may be soft at first. You may even doubt it, but it grows slowly as you learn to watch yourself without judgment, to see your thoughts without rushing to act on them, to feel your emotions without letting them pull you like a tide. This is the strange lesson of quiet power, that restraint can be stronger than motion, that patience can be fiercer than anger, that choosing not to react can be braver than speaking. You may wonder how this is possible. How can stillness hold weight and silence carry strength? It is possible because strength is not only measured by what is done, but by what is not done, by the battles you avoid because they are unnecessary, by the words you do not speak because they will not serve the truth, by the actions you withhold, because the moment is not ready, and neither are you. And in this waiting, you begin to feel a kind of respect, first for yourself, for the heart that refuses to be rushed, for the mind that does not bend to every demand, for the soul that keeps its own counsel. This respect is quiet, but it is profound. It is a light that does not shine outward to be noticed, but inward, where it warms everything it touches. And with it comes another realization, that they who watch, they who judge, they who misunderstand, they cannot diminish this. Their opinions, their assumptions, their whispers, they are as distant as the wind. You cannot control them, and you do not need to. What matters is the clarity inside, the calm that grows with each breath, the understanding that you are your own measure. You notice now that each moment of stillness has been a teacher. Each pause, each breath, each quiet decision has been building a kind of inner armor, not to shut the world out, but to protect the space where your truth resides. You may think it is patience, perhaps it is, but it is also recognition. Recognition that every provocation needs response. Not every slight needs correction. Not every misunderstanding requires explanation. There is a deep wisdom in choosing your battles silently, a deeper courage in letting the world misread your calm without disturbance. And in this choice, you feel something shift in your chest. A weight lifts, but not the weight of movement or doing. A weight lifts that comes from finally understanding that control over self is stronger than control over others, that silence is not emptiness but fullness, that the strength you seek has always been here, quietly waiting beneath the need to prove, beneath the need to react. And as you sit with this realization, it spreads through you softly, not like a flame, but like sunlight through morning fog, slow, gentle, illuminating. You feel your pulse steady, your breath calm, your thoughts aligned in a quiet rhythm. The storm outside does not matter here. The eyes that judge, the whispers that misinterpret, the pressure that once weighed so heavily, they fade into the distance. And you feel a truth that is simple, yet profound, that strength is not in the noise, but in the quiet that does not need to be heard. That power is not in the rush to act, but in the stillness that chooses wisely. And finally, you feel it settle in your bones, soft but unshakable. The strength of being unmoved, of observing, of holding your own center, no matter what stirs around you. It is quiet, it is calm, it is yours. There is a moment when the quiet you have carried begins to feel like a companion. It does not speak, it does not demand, it does not judge. And yet, in its presence, you feel a steady warmth, like a fire that does not burn but holds everything together. You notice that the world has not changed. They still watch, they still whisper, they still misunderstand. But you have changed, not in a way that needs to be announced, but in a way that is quietly complete. Have you felt the calm that comes when nothing needs to be proven, when the heart is steady and the mind no longer races to answer every call? It is not a triumph that others can see. It is not a victory to be celebrated. It is the simple, soft recognition that your presence is enough. You do not need to react to their words. You do not need to correct their stories. You do not need to defend the truth that resides within you, because the truth is yours to hold. And as you hold it, you feel a space opening inside where no one can reach, a place of stillness that is protected not by force, but by gentle awareness, by patient observation, by quiet respect for your own soul. In this space, every breath becomes a measure of your freedom, every pause a sign of strength, every moment of silence a testament to the power of restraint. You may notice how small things begin to matter more. The rhythm of your own heart, the rise and fall of your chest, the soft turning of thoughts like leaves on water. They are quiet yet profound, and in them you realize that this calm is not empty. It is full of presence, full of understanding, full of the quiet knowledge that your worth is not tied to noise or reaction. Sometimes the world will still try to pull you into its currents. Sometimes they will still misunderstand, still misjudge, still whisper stories about you that are not yours to own. And yet, it does not disturb you. Not because you are unfeeling, but because you have learned to anchor yourself within, to hold your center even when the wind moves fiercely around you. And there is a subtle joy in this, gentle as the first light of morning, a joy that does not shout, does not boast, does not demand. It is simply there like a soft song in the distance, reminding you that the quiet heart is never lonely, the steady mind is never lost, the restrained soul is never weak. You may feel a warmth rising in the chest, soft but steady. It is the warmth of self-respect, of knowing your own limits, of honoring your own rhythm. You have learned to watch without reacting, to breathe without rushing, to exist without needing approval. And in that learning there is peace, peace that is not fleeting, not dependent on circumstance, not tied to their understanding. It is a deep-rooted calm, flowing from the quiet choice to remain true to yourself. Have you noticed how the world feels lighter when you do not carry its judgments? How much more room there is for observation, for reflection, for simply being? It is here in this space that you feel the quiet strength of inner power, not the kind that demands or overwhelms, but the kind that steadies, sustains, and holds with gentle authority. And you begin to see that this is the nature of self-respect. To choose silence over reaction, to choose patience over impulse, to choose the heart's quiet wisdom over the noise outside. No one else may notice, no one else may understand. And yet, it does not matter, because you have chosen a path that does not need their approval, a path that honors your own essence, your own mind, your own soul. And as you sit here quietly breathing, observing, simply being, you feel the full weight of a truth that has no need for words, that peace is not found in the noise of others, that power is not shown in the anger of reaction, that strength is not measured by what you do, but by what you hold quietly within. And in this quiet holding, you are whole, you are steady, you are quietly strong, and nothing can take that away.